My guest tonight is Chief Fani-Kayode, a former aviation minister and who is also popularly called the Sadao Kishin Kafi, a title he got in Zamfara. Thank you so much, Chief Fani-Kayode, for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Sure. You'll probably be wondering that maybe you jumped into a hot soup. I mean, considering that your party, APC, is in some kind of mess.
Well, I wouldn't describe it as a mess. Far from it. What I believe that we're witnessing within the APC is perfectly normal for any vibrant, strong, and very large political party, particularly a ruling political party. I've been in the PDP in the past. We've experienced worse in the past within the PDP. The most important thing is that at the end of the day, everybody will come together, agree on a candidate, move forward and go to the election and win that election. So what you're seeing within the APC now is nothing peculiar, nothing extraordinary. As a matter of fact, it could be far worse than it is. And it's really no different to what's happening within the PDP. Like I just said somewhere the other day, that is a gas tank waiting to explode. I mean, already you've seen that former Governor Babangida Aliyu has said the presidency has been zoned to the north, not just to the north, to an individual in the north, that's Atiku Abubakar, within the PDP. He said that just today, or was it yesterday? And that's creating a stir within their party. So you can see that both sides of the divide have issues, but these are not really anything to worry about. The most important thing is that we come together as a party, we prepare ourselves for the next election, we select a good, strong candidate that can win at the polls, and we go forward and we win that election. That's what's important.
I wonder how easy that would be, considering that some folks in your party had gone to the Federal High Court seeking a court order to stop the convention from happening in February. Do you see the convention really happening in February?
Well, let me put it like this. When you have a party of over 40 million people, which is what the new register seems to reflect, you're going to have all sorts of people doing all sorts of things. And it's their right to do that, as long as they operate within the rules, the rule of law. They have a right in a democracy to go to court and ask the court to give a ruling on whatever they choose. You know, that's their prerogative, it's their right.
But that's a pointer to one thing, disunity in your party.
No. What it means is that we don't all agree on a particular issue. This is not a cult. It's never been a cult, and it will never be a cult. Some people will always disagree with others, and that's healthy. The most important thing is that at the end of the day, everybody will come together, support whoever it is that emerges as the candidate at the election, and ensures that we win the election. So whatever is going on now is simply, if you like, an appetizer, a very delightful appetizer of democracy, which will eventually evolve into a keen contest between the PDP, the APC, and whichever other party is involved. It's a quest for power, and people say and do all sorts of things before that fight really comes. So once we get to that fight, I assure you everybody will come together and these differences will be buried.
Two things now that or maybe three, that I respect about the conversation with you is the fact that you're a lawyer.
Yes.
You're not only a lawyer, you're a politician, and you've been in the scheme of things for a long time. Also, you're a student of history. And also I'll bring your mind to the reason why I'm saying your party might be in a mess. Every time you've seen people move out of the standard in most of the political parties, which the PDP made popular, that before you go to court, you need to exhaust all the internal processes before you go to court. I'm not sure about what has happened that led those people to go to court. And anytime you see that happen, and I'll give you instances. In Zamfara State, the APC lost that state, not because of anything, but because they couldn't agree, they went to court. In River State, the APC was not even able to be on the ballot. And we've seen this in a few other states. This is just a simple example. And history, and not far history, I might go into 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where court issues had made a mess of political party activities. And that's why I'm saying your party looks like it is in a mess.
The most important thing is this. The leadership of the party, the present leadership of the party has done exceptionally well. There's a National Reconciliation Committee led by, I believe, Senator Abdullahi from, Adamu Abdullahi from Nasarawa State. The national chairman of the party, Governor Maimala Buni, has established that. This is a credible, strong leadership that believes in people coming on board, including everybody. Now, they are working, and whatever the differences might be, particularly in this particular case of people going to court, I have no doubt whatsoever that they'll bring everybody together at the end of the day, and they will ensure that we have a united front before we get to the convention, whenever that will be, and before we get to the election, which will be next year. And that is my prayer, that is my belief. And I know most of the players in this game, and I'm assuring you that under the leadership of Maimala, this is what is going to happen. That's how he operates. That's how he has managed to bring over 3 sitting governors from the PDP to his party, a number of other leaders like myself, and so many other people, senators like Senator Grace Bent, and so many that have joined the APC and left the PDP over the last few months. And I'm assuring you that more will come before the election takes place.
What I was hearing is that more will leave your party to the PDP.
Well, that's a desire and a masturbatory dream of the PDP. I doubt that very, very much. You know, let's wait and see. People say all sorts of things in politics. I saw my younger brother and good friend of mine, Shegu Shomi, speaking from Lagos just now, saying that the president has, post-traumatic syndrome or something like that. Well, the president does not have that. What the president has is a clear vision and an understanding of the problems that we are faced with in this country. And he's speaking from a position of knowledge, and he's trying his best to ensure that he moves the country forward in the way that he sees fit. And most important of all, if he has an opinion that you disagree with, say you disagree with the opinion without suggesting that there's something wrong with him in terms of his mental faculties. It's very, very far from it. He's focused, he's clear. You may not agree with everything that he says. I may not agree with everything that he says, but he's certainly not suffering from that.
When the president said in that interview, he said that he doesn't want to let the cat out of the bag on whom he will be supporting. I mean, he's made it clear that he has a favorite. Who do you imagine that favorite is?
Well, I have absolutely no idea. What I know is that he knows every single key player within this party very, very well. And he may well have made up his mind, like he said in that interview, but he will never allow you or myself or anybody to know who that person is, for the reasons that he clearly stated, that the minute you express your view about an individual, no matter how big or small you are, that individual inherits a lot of enemies, and they start fighting.
You know the reason why I'm asking you, Chief Fani-Kayode?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people come and say, you know the person the president was talking about, it's just so and so. You are a key player in the party. You have friends, and let me show you the name on the names on the list. Those who are the permutations and some of the early contenders, or the names that have been thrown up in the APC. Former Governor of Lagos, Bola Tinubu, Yaya Bello of Kogi, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, the Vice President, Rochas Okorocha, Rotimi Amechi, Godswill Akpabio, Kayode Fayemi, Babatunde Fashola. Who do you think that the president might be referring to on this list?
I have absolutely no idea who the president is referring to. The person may be on this list, the person may not be on this list. I have no idea. What I will tell you, though, is every single person on that list, every single one of them, is highly qualified to be president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Not just those on that list. There are others that are not on that list. A dark horse may emerge, but I know that every single one of them is qualified. The party is a strong party, a good party that has managed to hold the country together over the last few years, despite the challenges that we've had, and they're very real challenges. And these people, every single person that is mentioned there, is more than capable of running this country. Of course, you know, you have some that are younger than others. You have some that are perhaps more dynamic than others, more focused than others, and stronger than others, and more decisive than others. I'm a great friend and believer in Yaya Bello, but there are others that are there as well. And, you know, at the end of the day, we'll all come together and we'll make a decision. And once we make that decision, we will go into the field and we'll fight the corner, and we will ensure that our candidate, our presidential candidate, will become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. As Shegu rightly argued, you know, there isn't, you know, you have to consider the fact that there are some parts of this country that have never had the presidency. The North Central has never had the presidency since the beginning of time.
Some people will argue that, in fact, North Central has benefited more than any region.
No.
In terms of having leadership.
We're talking...
I mean, if we look at it from either the military or the democratic...
My words, I was very, very specific and clear with my words. A democratically elected president. The North Central has never had a democratically elected president since 1960. They have never had a democratically elected vice president since 1960. The Northeast has had a democratically elected prime minister for 6 years, and he was killed, Satabawa Balewa, you know, after 6 years. That's the only time they've had the mantle of leadership in this country. And the Southeast has never had a democratically elected president. Both Southeast and Northeast have had democratically elected...
Southeast has had a vice president.
They've had, both Southeast and Northeast have had democratically elected vice presidents. But in terms of democratically elected presidents, the Southeast has never enjoyed it, the North Central has never enjoyed it, and the Northeast has only enjoyed it for 6 years when Sir Tafawa Balewa was there. So the argument could well be that, you know, why on earth would you deny them that right? Why would you say no to them? Why should it be that the presidency is rotated simply between, let's say, the Northwest and the Southwest, or elsewhere? Even the South-South have only had it for a limited period of time under President Goodluck Jonathan. You could argue this all night, but the most important thing is, regardless of what you believe about zoning, in my view, we need to look for a dynamic, strong, focused, decisive leader this time around. Younger, stronger, and ready to carry this mantle and focus on going to the future and create a new Nigeria for us all. That's the way forward. And I'm glad with what our brother said, Shegun, when he now invited Yaya to come over to the PDP. Well, that would be the last thing that would happen. I know him very, very well. He's in the right place at the right time. He has a damn good chance of winning that nomination. And others are also involved. Oshibajo is there, and a few others. The Fashola is also a very, very focused person. But the most important thing for me is that we agree on a person. We all have our preferences, but let's just agree. Whoever it is, then we go into the field to save Nigeria.
I put this to you. I've done a few permutations and analyses in the past years of the figures and the determinants of electoral process or elections in Nigeria. And we know for sure, history has taught us that in Nigeria, those who have the muscle are those who carry the day. The numbers, political numbers and the electoral numbers, those are the who have carried the day. And you give it to the Southwest, you give it to the Northwest. They've always shown their muscle during an election, followed by the South-South.
Absolutely.
But the Southeast, the North Central has always been swing region. I mean, when there is an indecision in the election, the North Central swings it. But the question is that they usually don't benefit as much when it comes to the scheme of things. And I see that playing out again.
Well, that's a great observation. And you're a very profound person. You have a lot of experience. You've been in this for a very long time. And you're absolutely right. A friend of mine who is a governor right now, he wasn't governor at the time, came to my house a few years ago. And he said to me that, that actually, if you look at it closely, power could be rotated in perpetuity between Northwest and Southwest. And I asked why. He said, if you look at the voting numbers, like you rightly said, 18 million registered voters in the Northwest, which is usually the case, approximately 16 million in the Southwest, which is usually the case. And if you put the Southeast and the South-South together, 7-7, they only have 14 million. I think this North Central about 11 or whatever it is, and the Northeast more or less the same as that. So he argued that, listen, why are we bothering with everybody else? That we should just be rotating power between the Northwest and the South.
The big boys in the room.
Yeah, absolutely. And that we could do that in perpetuity. He's a sitting governor, good friend of mine.
Yeah, but that may be politically, unfair.
No. I told him, you know, at that time I told him, and I believe that's wrong, even more now than then. He told me this in 2013, but even more now than then. Even though I disagreed with him, but now I see that it's a very, very dangerous course to walk. Because the minute you start making people in the Southeast, the South-South, the North Central, and the Northwest feel as if they are marginalized people who can never achieve the presidency, you are planting the seed of secession in this country. So I think that we need to be a little bit restrained in this. We shouldn't push the argument about numbers being in one place or the other. Those of us from the Southwest and the Northwest have to accept the fact that there are other people that also have the right to lead this country and rule this country. We must be fair, we must be equitable, and we must share the power and allow other people to run for this presidency and enjoy it. That is just my view. And I could argue that view anywhere, anytime. But let's wait and see what the party will say.
Two or three quick questions to you tonight. And let me begin with the first, is whether or not the APC can go, is whether or not they are popular right now, and they can go to Nigerians now and convince them to vote for them in 2023. Do you hold that view?
Let me tell you this. I don't think we should take sides on the basis of whether we can convince people or not. We should take sides on the basis that what is right and what is wrong, what we believe to be right. I believe that if the APC and the APC government can state its case eloquently and clearly to the Nigerian people, which is something I believe has been lacking over the last 4 years. And if they could only tell the world the truth about what has been going on in this country, the crisis that they have averted, the dangers that they're facing, the fact that our unity is under threat by foreign powers and so on, if they could be open about
What about the promises and the delivery on those promises?
If they could put that argument,
would that also be on the table?
If they could put, of course, if they could put that argument, and why it is that things have been difficult. Some of the figures you gave the other day, of course, you're absolutely right when you spoke to the president. Things have been difficult for a number of reasons. But if they could state that case, this is the most important thing, and convince the Nigerian people that, listen, things may not be as good as they could be, but things will be a lot better in the future given what we have done, and that we have avoided war in this country, which is our greatest achievement. That way they will sail through. If they do not do that, there are going to be challenges. Because you see, what's happening is that the PDP, and you know, I was there for many, many years, and I know what I would do if I was on the other side. You would simply focus on the negatives. You will not provide a solution. You will not say how you will solve the problem yourself. All you want to do is come to power to be there all over again, and you're not even preferring any solutions. As a matter of fact, you are enjoying the fact that we have so much insecurity. But let me just say this: this government that everybody, this party that everybody has been maligning, some of us criticize them more than those that are criticizing now in the past. But what did they do? They ensured that the bandits in the Northwest have been labeled as terrorists. We fought for that for a very, very long time. I joined the party. Now they've been labeled as terrorists by this federal government. Nobody would believe that would happen.
So quick one.
More.
And just I have a few seconds to go.
Yeah.
I outlined about 5 components or elements that will determine, that will shape this election in 2023. Age, fitness for office, ethnic zoning, the quality of the candidate, the ideas they are bringing to the table, and of course the unifying character that some of these people should have. From those lists, over the list that you have seen, who would you say tick the box for you?
Well, I've already said who I believe would fit the bill. This is just my opinion. I'm a believer in Governor Yaya Bello. I believe that he would be an excellent president. I believe that he would fit that bill very well. I believe he would appeal to the millions of young people in this country, that this is a change. We're changing the dynamics. We're giving power to a younger person. That's just my view, though. And it's left for everybody to come out. And
but the question, Chief, is whether or not if I pick, I'll pick 2 people now. If you pick an Atiku Abubakar from the Northeast region and the kind of profile that he has in this country, can Yaya Bello stand head-to-head with him in the general election?
Why not? He would defeat him hands down.
Really?
Any candidate, the PD... Let me tell you this. There are only 2 people that I believe would provide a strong fight against the APC within the ranks of the PD. Only 2. The first is Bala Mohammed, who I have immense respect for, but I doubt they have the presence of mind to give him the ticket. In fact, they will make sure he doesn't get the ticket. So he should come to APC and try his luck. Or Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi of Enugu State, who is not even on your list. And he's one of the brightest and the best of them all, and the most effective. He's not even on the list. These are the 2 people that would have provided a good fight. There is nobody else on that list, particularly Atiku Abubakar, that can stand against anybody within the APC, particularly against Yaya Bello, Fashola, or any of them, or Fayemi. None whatsoever. That is just my view. I believe it passionately, and I have my reasons for saying that. It's time for us to move forward. Let me end with this, show. Let me tell you, there are other people that may eventually end up being featured as presidential aspirants and so on and so forth in both parties that nobody's talking about right now. And I assure you that when the time comes, though, we will sit down, we'll look at it, I will make a decision, and we'll go to the field.
Well, there's so much more that we need to talk about. I probably will invite you some other time.
I'll be delighted.
It's always very good to talk about the practical terms of our politics and how the elections will shape.
Thank you.
Chief Fani-Kayode, thank you so much
for
coming
tonight. Thanks for having us.